Danny. Okay, stop it.
Sorry.
You've got a match preview to do, yeah?
Look, dude, I'm just trying to cheer myself up after the 4-2 loss that we just had against Guangzhou Evergrande. I'm Danny Ratner-Pinter.
I'm Bryce Clayton, and welcome to another match day preview for Melbourne victory.
And a bit of a well, let's just say it how it is. It's about 1:30 in the morning, Thursday morning, after Guangzhou Evergrande Melbourne victory.
Yeah, about half an hour after the loss, and disappointing one from the boys. I mean, great start in the first half, 2 goals. Pablo Contreras stepped up and Lee Broxham, but wasn't enough. The quality of some of their players is unbelievable. Without their salary cap, you know, it's going to be very difficult, and they outclassed us in that second half.
We'll look at the Tianhe Stadium in Guangzhou. It was an absolutely stellar performance. Let's have a look at the highlights right now. Of course, the match started with, well, it was a very fast-paced match, wasn't it, Bryce?
Yeah, definitely.
The first goal, I believe it was Jesse Macarunas, who was a surprise inclusion for me. Pops in that initial cross.
Yeah, he did.
And who was on the other end of it? But Pablo Contreras.
Yeah, I mean, the volley came in from, I think it was Costa. And
yeah.
Who was there? Yeah, Pablo Contreras, he followed it up pretty well, didn't he?
Look, I was saying this to you when we were watching the match. Pablo hasn't really been able to show his true talent and you know, abilities within the A-League, and when he comes up against such high opposition and strong opposition, he's really able to show how good he can be at a top level. So
exactly, he stepped up to the big occasion.
Exactly.
We haven't seen him have to face a big occasion this season so far, and you know, he's obviously not used to playing these lower, unknown clubs in Asia, and yeah, coming up against a powerhouse like Guangzhou Evergrande, he's going to have to be on top of his form, and he did pull through for us.
Yeah, absolutely, and that
unfortunately it wasn't enough in the end, but
no, defensively he did quite well as well, and of course, what a second goal it was. I mean, Lee Broxham. Let's have a look at the goal right here. Take us through it. I mean, what did you make of it?
Well, you know, the cross came in and it's just bobbled up after the corner, and you know, outside the box he's just hit it again. Another volley from DJ Brox. You know, he really doesn't have much of a goal scoring record, does he? No,
well, DJ Brox, he's been doing well in the Asian Champions League as of late. It really came out of nowhere, if you ask me. I mean, he had an amazing you know, goal against Melbourne United.
Exactly, and it's the second in 2 games after not scoring for quite a while. I mean, it was his last goal, I think from memory, was against Sydney FC. We had I think it was a 3-3 draw a few years ago, maybe 3 or 4 years ago. I mean, he doesn't score at all, so yeah, it's good to see him hitting this goal scoring sheet in the Asian Champions League. Hopefully he backs it up against John Book in a few weeks.
It was an absolutely intimidating Tianhe Stadium, 60,000 Guangzhou Evergrande fans, and look, when Brock scored that goal, we all went absolutely mental.
Oh, we did. And I mean, look, it is going to be intimidating because it's basically like the Western Sydney Wanderers and the RBB. You see then the whole stadium jumping around, and it's like 60,000 of them.
Yeah, but it certainly shut them up, Broxham's goal. And of course, here's our reaction, me and Bryce in the lounge room watching the Broxham goal.
Delivered by Macarunas. Good delivery from Macarunas. Chance here on the volley.
Brilliant free kick. Whipped in. Guangzhou didn't deal with it.
Check the keeper. Back post delivery. Chance here.
He's run onto that ball at 100 miles an hour. And I think it's past Chang as he's gone. I think it's the corner comes in, it's headed out, and he attacks it, and he just gives it some violence on the volley.
Technically perfect from Lee Broxham.
Brilliant finish. It's past the keeper before he's dived. Crashes into the back of the net. Kevin Muscat can't believe it. What a performance.
Well, we said it was a crucial period for half-time.
Pretty decent reaction there.
Well, you know, it was a big goal and we thought we were on for a win there, but
yeah, okay, so then we have to get to the sad part of the match. What happened in the second half? First of all, Marcello Lippi would have gone to the rooms. World Cup winning manager. He would have told his Brazilian strikers, Elkson and Miracle, and of course Diamanti, the Italian international, to really just put their heads up and actually not underestimate the Melbourne victory. What do you think Kevin Muscat said, and what changed in the second half?
Well, Muskie obviously would have been very pleased with the first half, and it all was all going to plan really. You couldn't have asked for a better first half. 2-0 up against the reigning champions of the Champions League. But I think Marcello Lippi had to have done something because he's a World Cup winning manager. He's going to have some tricks up his sleeve, and he really did pull them out. I mean, Diamante, he was the game changer in the second half, and those couple of goals that he scored, I'm not quite sure if it was 2 or 3 at the moment, but it was quality, and you can't really, I mean, one of them was a goalkeeping howler from Nathan Kobe. You can't put all the blame on him. They were pretty decent goals, and we couldn't really stop them all.
With the first goal, I found that there was a lot of desperation from the Guangzhou Evergrande player. I don't know his name, but he ran into it, and the cross that he got out, he just sprinted towards the ball. That most of the victory players, they didn't really fight for those balls that could have gone either way, whereas Guangzhou he ran it in, crossed it, and who was on the other end of it. But what an amazing strike it really was.
Exactly, and that's the difference in quality between the two leagues. I mean, every single one of their players was hungry for the ball, and they wanted to run it down to the last minute, even if they knew they had no chance of getting the ball. But if we could see more of that from the victory, we might be better off. But I mean, Mitch Nichols was one who was very good at doing that, and I've mentioned that to you in the past. But he's going to have to, we have to get a few more players with desperation, such as the Guangzhou players.
Best on field was probably Diamantis, but from the Melbourne victory, who was your favourite pick?
That's a pretty good question. I think that we all played pretty well, and you got to say, Lee Broxham, I actually think that played quite well, and I was quite impressed with his...
Hashtag feed the Brox, of course.
Getting very popular around, but hopefully he can continue these performances because he's been very good. And the team as a whole in the first half played extraordinary because we managed to keep a clean sheet at that stage to the reigning champions of Asia. And it was always going to be difficult to keep a clean sheet in the second half. I mean, I thought personally that we might, if we were going to concede, it might come back to 2-2 or something. But disappointing to see the loss, but we got to back it up against John Book and make something of it.
Of course, and of course this is the footage of our hearts dropping in the lounge room as well. Never too good. We never want to experience that emotion in football, do we? But either way, we have to look forward to just a couple of days now. Melbourne victory versus Melbourne Heart. The
derby.
The Melbourne
Derby 12.
Are you excited, Bryce?
Very. It's going to be great, and it's the one game that you really want to step up and show that you are the best team in Melbourne. Heart are coming off an incredible streak at the moment. You want to tell us about that?
Well, look, I mean, they went on 19 matches. They equalled the record for matches without a win in the Hyundai A-League in its short history, of course. Now, Melbourne Heart, out of nowhere, of course, won that first match against the Newcastle Jets. Had a thrilling encounter against Adelaide United. The match against Sydney FC was a stellar performance, 2-1 over Alessandro Del Piero's Sydney FC. Of course, another 2-1 victory over William Gallis's Perth Glory. The Wellington Phoenix match caught everyone off guard.
I know.
The very same side who beat us 5-0 in Wellington and over in the Westpac Stadium. I mean, Melbourne Heart dominated, didn't they?
Yeah, they definitely did, and they came out and just completely outclassed the Phoenix. And you got to admit that they're two teams that are in prime form at the moment too, so you can't take away from the Phoenix. They've been in incredible form as well. Two teams shooting up the ladder. We've seen Adelaide as well has gone from one of the bottom places on the table and shot up to the top, top 3 or 4 positions, and it's going to be difficult. They've been on a stellar run, and to beat the Phoenix 5-0 at Westpac, that's fairly good effort.
When the first 60% of the competition can make finals, I guess it goes to show how inconsistent the league can be. You can have a very terrible start of the season and come home and finish in the finals.
Exactly. I mean, Heart hadn't won a game and this season
until round 14, 15,
Exactly. So, you can have a terrible start, and yet they are still in the mix for the finals right now.
And then, surprise, surprise, bottom beats top against Brisbane Roar.
Oh, that was incredible.
On the 23rd of February. What an impressive performance it was. I believe it was Orlando Engeler who popped in that goal. Melbourne Heart have, at the moment, are the absolute informed team in the entire competition. Now, you've done your research this week. You're our domestic expert here at MVS. And, just tell me, first of all, before we go into it, what's your predictions? How do you see the match going about? And why do you have such a thought?
Well, I have to say, it's going to be very difficult backing up a trip to China 3 days before. That's never going to be easy. I think I'm going to have to go with a draw. I'm hoping for a draw, but you know, I think that it's going to be very difficult, and I wouldn't be surprised if Hart come out and upset us, but it's not what we want to see. Hopefully our boys come out and really give it a go. I mean, it's desperate 3 points that we need.
Yeah.
And if, you know, everyone's going to use that as an excuse, I mean, you got the Mariners, the Wanderers, and ourselves, you know, we're top teams, so we're going to have to push through it.
Well, with that said, let's have a look at what is the Melbourne Derby.
Victory versus Hart. The Derby. What an occasion. The game that tends to draw the biggest crowds of the season, with the rivalry strong from day one. The first derby saw the Hart take the spoils, with John Aloisi scoring the opener to send Victory into despair before Robbie Cruz pulled it back to 1-1. Alex Terra was the heartbreaker for Victory on that occasion, helping the Hart to a win on the first ever Melbourne Derby. The second derby was one to remember, with Robbie Cruz shooting down Hart with a brace and Adrian Leia standing up to produce an enthralling 3-1 win, our first derby win in our short history. There have been plenty of exciting derbies since. Derby 5 saw us lose out in a thrilling 3-2 encounter. Who can forget Derby 8? Archie Thompson at the death, and he sends the Victory into raptures. A long stint of Derby misery was over, and we haven't looked back since. The most recent derby saw us win 3-1, and this was one of the only games the North Terrace have been fully active in this season. We're undefeated now in 4 derbies heading into this one. Can we make it 5 in a row after tough games against Adelaide and Guangzhou? We'll find out.
Appreciate you bringing us through that feature of the Melbourne Derby. Enthralling match it should be on Saturday evening. Of course, it is fully ticketed, I believe, because it's an away fixture, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. So make sure to get your tickets if you want to get out there, because your membership won't get you in this week.
Of course.
Fortunately, they got the 2 home games this year. So
now, danger players. We have to go through our matchups and key matchups. Who do you see as a dangerous task for the Melbourne Victory, and take us through the matchups?
Well, David Williams, he has been in stellar form at the moment.
9 goals for the season.
Yeah, he has, and you know, when you look at him and his pairing with Ramsey, former Adelaide United player,
of course.
They're very dangerous, and if you chuck that in against inexperienced defence in Ansell, it's going to be pretty difficult. Jesse
Macaronis had a decent performance against Guangzhou Evergrande tonight. What do you want to see him against the Melbourne Heart starting?
Definitely, I think that he's a quality player and he's good young blood that's been brought through from when Ange was here as well. And hopefully he can continue a good performance, because he proved that he has got the skill to take on, well, the biggest club in Asia. So surely he's got enough skill to maybe give it a go against the Heart and give us a go.
Will Tom Rogic be returning?
It seems like it from what we've seen so far, and that'd be a huge inclusion as well as
Guy
Finkler coming in. Yeah, definitely. He's a danger man after his game against Adelaide last week. That was
I think the highlight of my night against Adelaide United is that amongst all the excitement, we're singing the Tequila song. If you guys don't actually understand, I'm in the North Terrace, of course, and we just go absolutely crazy with the Tequila song. I mean, have you heard it?
I don't think I have, no.
Oh, well, I wouldn't sing on camera, but it's a lot of fun. Either way, Guy Finkler is in incredible domestic form. It would be huge to have him against John Book and Yokohama.
Oh, huge. Exactly. He's going to have to come back. But, yeah, I mean, with Asian Champions League, you've only got 3 international spots. So, I mean, once you've got Pablo Contreras, you've got Dharma Traore, and you've got Costa Barbarouses. It's a little bit difficult. I mean, we do have a few wingers, so Muscat would have to consider leaving Barbarouses out, maybe. But it's his decision, and he's the coach. We've got to trust in him, and hopefully, yeah.
Okay.
Some success.
In the midfield, what do we have to look for?
Against the Heart, we've definitely got Orlando Anglar. He's been in stellar form. As
all 6'8" of the Dutchman.
Yes, definitely. And his matchup with Rogic, whichever one of those is able to fire, like, you know.
Yeah.
Well, you know, you think about it, we've been scoring quite a few goals lately.
Absolutely.
So we have the firepower up front to damage any team. I mean, you think about it, we had the 3 goals against the Mariners a few weeks ago, then we backed it up with 2 goals against Mongtong. Then we had the 4 goals against Adelaide, of course, and now 2 against Guangzhou.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, we can boast that, but we can't boast that we beat the Wellington Phoenix 5-0. Melbourne Heart can, though, and we have to look forward to them. Defensively, we've got a bit of a shamble at the moment, wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that second half really cost us, and we're going to have to defend a lot better if we're going to have any chance of keeping out goals from the Heart. I mean, you know, you look at them on the bottom of the table, you don't think they're that much of a threat, but in the form that they're in at the moment, I would have loved to have played them 6 weeks ago.
Absolutely.
But at the moment, they're a tough team to beat, and especially after having 3 games in 7 days, it might be difficult.
Of course. Now I have to finish on one note. Nathan Coe. After tonight's performance, look, honestly, I think he did quite well. If it wasn't for him, we would have conceded 6 or 7 or 8 goals. Of course, that second goal, Diamanti pops in a shot that sort of semi-deflected off Costa Barbarouses, and it pretty much went through his hands. What do you make of Coe? How's his season gone? Should he remain number 1? Should we give Lawrence Thomas a go? Even our 3rd youth keeper, is he still our number 1?
I think that he is. I mean, you can't be too hard on him. One game doesn't define a whole season of good work. This whole season he's been pretty consistent. He's shown us some pretty good form, and you can't really be that harsh on him because one mistake. Yes, he did make a howler, which didn't get them back into the game, but you know, keepers make mistakes. I mean, you're not going to see Galekovic dropped after his mistake last week against us for Adelaide, and you just got to keep faith in the goalkeeper and hope that they can bounce back well next game. And
of course,
this is a chance to do it. I mean, he only has to wait 3 days to make an impression. That's
just it. And Paddy Kisnorbo, of course, was sent off in the last derby, and it wasn't under much pressure that time around. And if it is 11v11 the whole time around, it should be a thrilling encounter. So that is about all we have time for here on the Melbourne Victory Supporters Match Day Preview. We appreciate you guys watching these gruelingly long videos. And hopefully, message to all the boys in blue. It was a stellar performance. We're very much proud of you collectively as Melbourne Victory supporters. It was huge to go over there in front of 60,000 people. Biggest club in the world, $40–50 million worth.
They gave a great effort, and you can't take anything away from it. I mean, going 2-0 up at half time, you hope for a little bit more, but you can't really say that they didn't give their all. And of the A-League teams this weekend, I mean, you saw
Mariners.
Wanderers and the Mariners both lost by 2 goals as well, and so did we.
Yeah.
Neither of them gave it anywhere near as much as we did. And
no.
I think that we can just hold our heads high and hopefully get a better result against John Bull.
As impressive as Western Sydney Wanderers were in the first 40 seconds, it was a good first 40 seconds, surely.
That's good stuff.
Until they threw a flare on and Ante Kovic couldn't see anything, and they conceded the goal and eventually lost to Ulsan Hyundai 3-1.
Exactly. Not very smart of the RBB there. North Terrace. None of that this week.
On that note, we appreciate you watching. I've been Danny Ratner-Pinter.
I'm Bryce Clayton.
We'll see you guys next time. Take care.